Hello YouTube and welcome back to Flads. This is Grey Goo, and for those of you that don't know, I'm a bit of an RTS fan on the quiet, and after seeing some pretty inspiring videos from a good friend of mine, Brandon Castile, also known as Wayward Strategy, probably one of the top RTS guys I've ever met, I've decided that I would like to cast some Grey Goo as well. It's a fantastic game. It has the 3 faction system similar to, say, StarCraft, and it works upon it in a slightly different way. It's got far simpler mechanics than StarCraft, in my opinion, and overall it's a very, very good game to get into RTS for. It's made by Petroglyph, who are the creators of games such as Command & Conquer, which I'm pretty sure everyone in the entire world will know. Today I'm going to be casting a game between the beta with BlueDragonic and the Humans, which is Sud 1979. Now, I'm not going to go into the history too much of this game and of the factions. I just wanted to chuck a tester out and see how you guys feel about me doing it, and maybe even one day Brandon will let me cast a game with him too. Okay, so in the top right hand corner we have the beta. These guys are incredibly mobile. They have the ability to create hubs and factories and refineries all over the map as long as they have vision, whereas the Humans are a stark contrast in essence, because they have this incredible ability to turtle, and already 3 refineries is, well, that's a pretty bold move by Suds, I must admit. Basically, he's going for a mass economy, but it's stalling production on everything else. And really, what Dragonic needs to be doing is punching out as many of these commanders as possible. But he's still only on the 1 factory. He's gone for a mildly defensive, and that is a refinery as well. When facing against the Humans, especially when he's seen this, he really should have been trying to pile in as many commanders as possible and just completely negate this economy that Suds has been trying to create. If you let the Humans build too fast and too strong in their early game economy, as you can see now, he's now going to be able to pretty much fund, or even with, he's still floating on +2, and he's put down 4 factories. This is not good at all for Blue. How is he going to deal with it? That's going to be the main question. These little extractor drones, harvesters they're actually called in this, are being targeted, but he really needs to be trying to stall the economy, because if 4 factories comes out, this is going to be a major problem for BlueDragonic. Even at this early stage, there is a lot of rushing in Grey Goo, and we're seeing the complete opposite of it. 3 refinery opening from Humans. Alright, the Humans probably can do that, and as you can see, these little conduits are joining up all the factories and all the structures that are owned by the human player. But really, he does not want to be shooting factories. He wants to try and stall the building of this, and now a heavy sentinel coming out is going to pretty much force him back. 2 towers. This is one of the advantages that the beta have. They can create these tower units everywhere, and they create this annoying harass that can interrupt a lot of things, especially against other beta. And if you do manage to get them on these catalyst hubs here, catalyst points, you can really interrupt the way that the economy of the enemy works. However, in this case, he's gone for 4 towers. What have we got? We still got 2 refinery. There is simply not enough units that have come out from Blue here, and well, all that's going to happen here is going to move the sentries around. They're going to take down these towers, and this early harass is gone. And the economy, if we look down at the resource stats, he's already the best part of 1,500 down at this early stage. Now, Humans will, admittedly, have a very, very strong economy throughout the entire game. Because they have to move so slowly, because everything can only be moved by these conduit crosses, it does mean that they do, as I said earlier, turtle very, very well. The problem being is that when he went 3 refinery, there should have just been a mass beta rush, and it would have pretty much ended the game there and then, because there was no way that if he managed to get 10 of these commanders down, they would have been able to do anything. But as we can see, these walls are being slowly whittled away, and now the expansion from the beta has started. We're going with a hangar and an air attachment, so this is going to create Nimbus, I believe, there, and air fighter unit. They can go ground to air to ground and air to air. Very, very quick, very agile, very utilitarian type air unit, but with the fact that he doesn't really know anymore what's going on in this base. If we just flick over to what he can see, he can no longer see, even with these towers in that 4 line, he would have only come to around here. He wouldn't have known what was going on. There could well have been anti-air sentinels. There could have been a counter-air being built by this monumental 3 refinery start, but he's decided that a hangar is what he wants to do. He's also going for a fourth refinery. This is a greedy beta build, and not really what they're famous for. Turtling with the beta can be done, but it's incredibly difficult, especially against the humans who do it so well themselves. So if we go back to viewing everyone, we have he's put his extractors at the extremities of where he can see. Now the idea behind this, of course, is that they're going to attack that. It does give you vision, and it also means that you can move them into your closer ones perhaps, or you can move them somewhere else without the refinery itself, which is the most expensive at 800 tokens, or catalyst if you like, per build. It does mean that stays relatively safe. However, we are seeing quite a, I'm not going to say negative build from the beta player here, but it is fairly slow, and we are looking now at a massive force. This is revolvers and tridents coming up from the human player. These things, the tier 1 units, so they're going to be countered by things like Predators will do very well against him. Artillery especially will do very well. So now that he's actually seen that this force is here, we should be looking probably at getting some artillery in, but it doesn't look like the expansions are coming that fast for our beta player. He has built instead a wall, so he's going for turtle. We're seeing the Predators coming out. They will be very, very strong against the tier 1 units, so that's not such a bad thing. It would be better if we could see some artillery coming out. He's continuing to go with these. If we can just grab one with these Nimbus. It's a Warbird, sorry. The Nimbus is the main bombing unit, and then a Stratus is the scout unit, which it probably would have been a better idea to get out, because he could have positioned it above here and seen the army of death that is being tier 1 towards him. And this is going to be a problem, because he's not making sufficient units. Whilst the economy of the beta player is very good, he's actually floating at +5, which is not ideal for a beta player. You want to be somewhere between -2 and +2, so that everything is still working. And he's actually managed to stall his production here with the large factory and the tank attachment. I'm pretty sure that this is a bad idea. After seeing this many T1 units, and now we're seeing the Gladius as well. These are the tank units for the human player. They're going to put in a lot of damage, countered really heavily by stalkers. So if he has seen that, which I don't know if he has, but this tier 1 sort of spam that he saw earlier should already have meant that an artillery should have been coming out. The human player himself, he seems pretty happy. Oh, we are going with air pads, so there's 4 air pads coming out. These are the Sentinels. We've got 5 factories. We've now moved to 5 refineries. There's going to be a lot of low-level unit spam coming out. We have a stealth attachment, artillery attachment, and air attachment. Perhaps even, if a large factory came out, we may even be looking at an alpha. But for now, this just looks like a lot of medium and small units coming towards the base, and they are hiding up in the brush beautifully here, and I'm not 100% sure. Well, they've all taken damage, so there is a good chance that Blue knows these are here. It's whether or not he's going to act upon the impulse, and really he should have been, like I said, I think artillery would have been the best way to go, considering he has seen the low tier spam. The Gladii would have naturally been taken out if he'd built in some stalkers as well, but his own anti-air now, which is brought in with the longbows, this is going to cause him some real problems, because it means that he can't get his warbirds out. They're going to come over this area and from the brush be able to be taken down with ease, and that pretty much signals the end of this air assault coming from the beta. There has been an expansion into the upper left. This is the beauty of the beta. You can go from your home base and create these proxies all over the place. The more proxies you have, obviously, the more the enemy has to think about But it would appear that there is only one thing in the mind of Suds right now, and that is amassing this army. All the brush is starting to fill up with these gladii and these revolvers. Is he finished with the tridents? The longbow is there just as a protection against these warbirds. We've still got just the gladii. Oh, there are tridents in here. So there's a lot of tier 1, a lot of tier 2. We haven't seen the howitzers yet, which are the artillery of the human, which really do a lot of work. And what have we got here? A large hub, a large factory in the beginning of a tank attachment. This may well be the beginning of a Hand of Rook. That's the epic unit for the beta. It's insanely powerful. It's like a floating nuclear bomb dropping mass factory. It's an insane thing that pretty much will signal the end of any game. Now these extractors are coming under increased threat from the air units of the human, and that means his economy is going to start stalling. And as you can see, we are now at -7. The building that he's doing is actually stalled completely out. -7 is not a good place for him to be. This hangar does not want to be here anymore. Neither does his air attachment, unless he wanted to go anti-air. But at the moment, this hangar really is redundant, and there is not enough coming out. A second large factory is going to start punching out units, but all the while these stalkers are in here. He knows there are gladii coming, but it's whether or not he's going to act on it. And down in the human base, we now have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 air pads coming out. There is going to be a massive air assault coming up towards the base player at the moment, and Suds is smiling. What has he seen? Oh no, the scout has seen that a Hand of Rook is being built, and these revolvers are going in to investigate, and there are only 2 beta commandos in there, and this gladii is going to completely remove the threat, and they're just going to go to work on this, I imagine, now, and just stop the epic unit coming out. There's been not a lot of expansion with a follow-up to it. So we've got a refinery here. We should have had barracks, perhaps a wall, just to try and defend it. This Hand of Rook was completely in the open, and with the fact that there's been no anti-air from the beta player himself, and this hangar still exists, we've had a problem. Now there's a large engagement. Stalkers coming into this brush. They're going to take out the gladiator very quickly. They do a lot of single target damage. It's like a sniper unit that can really punch into especially the armored units. They do +1 on the armor. Do they, Stalkers? No, just 9 damage now, but that is enough to really give the Gladius a real damage dealing, and he's managed to take down that initial force. However, up this right hand side flank, there is going to be some backdooring coming in. This is going to be a revolver, a couple of gladiators, a revolver tridents, a tier 1 spam coming in towards this extractor, and I have a feeling this extractor's in trouble. Not only is that there, but there is a second force hiding in the brush, ready to come in probably on this flank as well, and this is the beginning of the end for the beta player. There's been not a great deal from him after he missed the initial 3 refinery push. The building now from the human is just sending troop after troop after troop up here, and they're just cleaning up the outer bushes. The Hand of Rook build is now completely removed, and in the top right hand corner we are now looking at the tier 1 units just wailing down. They have taken out the extractor, but then they haven't made that much of an impact. This game is not over quite yet. However, the little trident revolver pack up in the top corner, which should be cleaned up. I mean, this could be a fairly even trade. The Predator's going to do a lot of damage, especially with this warbird up top. But now we see the flank on the left-hand side. This tier 1 spam coming through from the humans, going to take out this extractor again. And as you can see, the humans economy is just stalling now, and there's going to be very little way to come back from this. Although saying that, although these units are moving up, then they are still a mixture of tank and now we're moving into howitzers. Now he's moving out with the human artillery. That's going to become a real problem. The beta does need to fend this off. He's trying to build some walls, trying to turtle up a little bit, and it's not such a bad idea. He has plenty of resources still in his base. Where else can he go? He can still go here. This hasn't been approached by the humans at the moment, but back up at the top, and that is good game. He has given up. It was always the writing was on the wall, unfortunately, after the Hand of Rook and this proxy refinery went. Oh, thank you very much for watching. That is a win to the humans. Congratulations to Suds. And unfortunately, Blue just didn't react quick enough and probably in the right way to that initial 3 refinery push. That game could have been over within 2 minutes had he reacted, but he decided to turtle, and against the humans he's paid the ultimate price because they can just get out so many units so quickly. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Flads. This has been a test cast of Grey Goo. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have one you'd like me to cast as well, then that would be great. Cheers and goodbye.